The Biden White House recently released its budget proposal, and a lot of people are not happy about it. Missing from this new budget happens to be a lot of key Biden campaign promises. I didn't have a lot of faith or hope that a lot of these were going to be followed, but one really does kind of surprise me. Now, of course, he promised during the campaign, oh, we're going to get a public option. That's really, really popular, and not as I think it's a little bit more popular than Medicare for all. Even though Medicare for all would be absolutely superior, at least it would be a step, right? And he campaigned on that. And what's going to happen with that? Well, nothing. Nothing. At least according to the budget. Another item that was discussed was the cancellation of student loans, either 10,000 or 50,000. But the Biden budget calls for exactly nothing. And worst of all, the one that's a slam dunk, trying to bring down prices for prescription drugs. Now, I'm going to read from the Washington Post here. Jeff Stein writing this. White House officials have left key Biden campaign promises on healthcare out of their coming budget proposal, as the administration focuses on trying to pass what it has already introduced, according to 4 people briefed in the Internal Matter. Now, I get it. You have priorities, right? You want to get some key things passed. Infrastructure is one of them. The American Families Plan is another one. All that stuff is good, right? Now, that's not the reason that they didn't put this in the budget. The White House apparently jettisoned months of planning from agency staff, as their initial plan could fuel criticisms that the administration is pushing new spending programs too aggressively. The budget will not include, as a result, Biden's campaign pledge to enact a public option, or his pledge to cut prescription drug prices. The people spoke on condition of anonymity to describe internal administration deliberations. So think about that. They're pulling back because they're afraid of getting criticized. Who would criticize them on this? Oh, obviously Republicans, Fox News. Now, here's the thing. Republicans, they're always going to call you a communist socialist dictator. They already have. They already have. I know, because I cover it all the time. They despise you. No matter what you do, you're going to get criticized by Republicans. They're not suddenly going to ease off you now that you are ignoring spending too much money. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is such a stupid, dumb idea. Because what you're going to do ultimately is get a depressed turnout in the midterms because you're not fighting for anything. And for those of you who are wondering why this is so important, well, because, the assumption is, well, okay, what's the point of bringing it up if it's not going to pass? Well, I mean, without blowing up the filibuster, anything that Joe Biden tries to pass without budget reconciliation is DOA. And even then, you'd have to get Manchin and Sinema on board. But the thing that's important about this, dropping these things from the budget, is understand that the budget is a blueprint which tells the country what your priorities really are, what your priorities are as an administration. Okay? So now, I get it. I want to do infrastructure. $4 trillion in infrastructure is really important. Republicans, not going to be in favor of that. They're already ignoring it. The American Family Plan, also, positive things. There's some positive things in there. I'm with you on that. Yeah, I'd love to get those things passed. And guess what? Blow up the filibuster, you could actually do that. Unfortunately, they're not going to do that because you're not going to get Republicans on board for anything, no matter what you do. However, what you can do is you can appeal to the American people directly. And you can say, by passing these budgets and hyping this and talking about this and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what we want to do. We are fighting for you. But the Republicans, you got to give us a majority, because Republicans will continue to block us, to block things that are incredibly popular. Again, look how much support you have for lowering drug prices. This is wildly bipartisan. In fact, there's a recent Morning Consult political poll. 88% of Americans say that Congress should make lowering healthcare costs a priority, including 59% who think that it should be a top legislative priority. That is nearly 2/3 of the country. This is massively bipartisan. Massively. 85% of respondents say that lawmakers should prioritize passing a bill to bring down prescription drug costs, with 50% saying that it should be a top priority. They also found that reducing healthcare and prescription drug costs, moves that enjoy support across party line, outrank all other issues surveyed. Everything. So that they rank that above infrastructure. They rank that above the economy. They rank that above immigration. They rank that above basically everything. That is a layup, a slam dunk. It's so incredibly easy. And yet, since it's bipartisan, by the way, you put Republicans in the spot because you know they're going to block it. You know they're going to block it. You can say, look at this incredibly popular proposal. Look at this thing. We're gonna lower prescription drug prices. Something Trump promised to do, but never did. Never did. Because Republicans blocked it. What are you gonna do in the midterm? You gonna vote for Republicans who just blocked you from getting cheaper meds? Or are you gonna vote for us? God damn it. It's so goddamn easy. It's so goddamn easy. And yet they refuse to do it every single time. Handing a win to Republicans and drug companies. Every time. And by the way, they don't want to because they don't want the Democrats. The Democrats do not want to embarrass their precious Joe Manchin. And that's why, remember, Joe Manchin's daughter ran a pharmaceutical company. The same company that jacked up the price of EpiPens by 400%. Now, she has since retired. But understand, that's blood money. And every congressperson that gets money from the pharmaceutical companies and doesn't push to lower those prescription drug prices, that's blood money. Absolute blood money. And look, if they brought this to Congress, there's two things that would happen. And this is why this has been left out of the budget. They know that Joe Manchin would either have to destroy the filibuster, which he refuses to do, or he would side with Republicans, which would destroy every single argument in favor of protecting Joe Manchin. Why do they feel like they need to protect Joe Manchin? Maybe it's because they're all getting paid by the same people. So better off for them to not do it, to punt it down the line. And then, of course, they can come with the excuse of, oh, well, don't worry, we planned that for our second term. We planned that for the next 4 years. Yeah, that's the ticket. That's what we're going to do. And of course, there's no way of knowing what's going to happen in the next 4 years or what's going to happen after the midterm. But I do know that if you do nothing as Democrats, you're going to lose the House. You're going to lose whatever you have in the Senate. And then, of course, they can just say, well, we want to do something. But we don't have control of Congress. Our hands are tied. Republicans. What are you going to do? I guess we'll just focus on other stuff now. God. If you believe these excuses from the establishment, by the way, you suck at politics. You have no idea what's going on. You got to put, that's why it's really important. When you are handed a situation, and I know it's complicated, right? But you have the House. You have the ability to abolish the filibuster, get rid of the filibuster, and have, a vote where you could win on the party line on these major issues, and you refuse to do it? Well, you're kind of telling on yourself, okay? If you don't do it. It means you don't want these things. It means you don't want change. It means you don't want to help the American people as long if in any way impacts your donors. And that's what it is. They don't want to impact their donors. Again, I'm not shocked by this. Oh, look, a politician making promises and not keeping them. Whoa, big surprise. I'm a pretty cynical guy, but a lot of people, and this is why this is important to talk about, a lot of people believe Biden. Some of you watching this right now, watching me, believed in Biden. And look, I made my choice for Biden, to vote for Biden. I'm not ashamed of that. I wanted to stop a fascist. I don't regret that vote at all. I knew what I was going for. I've made peace with that. All right? I knew he was going to be dog shit on Israel, Palestine. Most presidents are. All U.S. presidents are technically war criminals when you look at it. We were not getting anything great on that front. But on domestic issues, you do have some ability to get some things done. Even so, you have the rot in the system. I knew that we were never going to get student loan cancellation, despite the fact that Biden could do this unilaterally. He could tell his Secretary of Education, cancel the student loan debt, get rid of it. He could do it today. But he refuses to do so, or a public option. Again, I knew that this was not going to happen, but my God, the least that he could do is actually try to push to reduce the price of prescription drugs. And that involves putting it in your budget. He's missing probably the easiest dunk ever in order to protect pharmaceutical company profits and Joe frickin' Manchin. Beyond pathetic, beyond absolutely weak. That's establishment Democrats for you. If you want to fight back, well, there's not a lot of options, but one of them is to fight for progressives. And when those progressives win, by the way, that's not the end of the story. Then you hold those progressives accountable if they don't work for you. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.